background like that. And I watched the show and I was like, oh my God, I feel like I want to do this. I have no clue if this is for me, but I want to go ahead and try it. And I started looking for a school, and I just so happened to find one that was 5 minutes away from my house. And I decided to pursue my career in professional,
Med mit gamle ansigt.
taking a little leap of faith. What was that?
Ja, mig selv.
Someone have a question now? I think we're all good.
Okay.
And everyone who's not talking, just please mute their microphones because it's cutting in.
Okay. Motor is you want to go and shake their hand. You want to go and say hi to all your veterans, show respect, show that you're there, let them know that you're there. They don't know you're there just because you showed up to help. If you go out of your way and give them your name, then now they know, oh, you're a new person. They're trying to get in. They're trying to get in. And if they see you doing stuff around, for example, I just did a show with Mark Henry, Kevin Sullivan, Teddy Long, and Jazz. As soon as I showed up, I made sure that I said hi to all of them, let them know that I was there, and let them know that whatever they needed, they could count on me. And at the end of that, I went there to manage. At the end of that show, they seen the way that I was doing everything behind the scenes. They told me to cut some promos on the fly, and I didn't feel ready for that. But after the show, they told me that I could wrestle, and they're gonna give me a title shot next event. And all I really did was just say hi, go around and let them know and do my best. I also want to let you guys know a few of the achievements that I've done in pro wrestling, so you guys have an idea of like why am I even here in the first place talking to you guys. I was the first ever female Latina executive producer of a pro wrestling TV show, and I'm also the first ever female Spanish commentator in the history of pro wrestling. And these things I got the same way with the same concepts that I just told you: being humble, being grateful, passionate, and determined. And those things sound like very cliche, but it's literally the only way to do things. When I first got casted with MLW, they told me to come in as maybe a manager or valet, or they really didn't know what I was gonna do. So I was bringing a bunch of outfits and just trying to give them options. And when I show up, they were like, I think we want you to wear a suit. And it was only like, that was one day before the show. And I was like, a suit? I don't have a business suit. And anybody else I worked at McDonald's at the time, so I had no money. And anybody else would have been like, well, I can't do that. I don't have the money. But I went to Macy's. I got a credit card, and for $800, I bought a suit. A suit for the job I wanted, not the one I had. And when I showed up, everybody thought, okay, this is the boss. And people started asking me, like, where am I supposed to go? Like, what am I supposed to do? When am I next? Like, what am I supposed to say? The Lucha Bros were coming to me asking me, like, what's next? Mainly because they didn't speak Spanish. So I saw an in on like through that, and I was helping all of the Spanish talent to figure out how to get everything done behind the scenes. But everybody saw me that I was always trying to help and trying to do more. I could not just sit there and wait for me to go on screen. I needed to get noticed, and that's the only way I was gonna get anywhere further. And Court Bowers, the owner of the company, he had seen me working behind the scenes, and he was like, you got something, there's something about you that you want to do more, you want to help, Do you want to be part of the office? Do you want to help us more? Maybe translate some visas or contracts, or, they found some more use for me than what I was giving them. And I think that's where it's at. You see a person like low key. He's just there. Like, he probably doesn't need anything. But the fact that you're coming to him and asking him, hey, is there something I could do for you? That talks about the type of person you are and the way you're built. Okay, that to me is just like the foundation of everything. And if at any point anybody has any questions or anything, please feel free to interrupt me. I can't see everybody. I only see like a few of you over here. So by all means, unmute your mic and interrupt me. There's no problem with that. I talked about, I have a little, I wrote everything down here in like little bullet points. I believe preparation is key. As a matter of fact, I met Tully Blanchard, and he said to me that something that stick with me forever: good planning prevents bad performance. And this is something that applies in every business, not just pro wrestling. A lot of people have the misconception that everything is better if you do it on the fly. They say you don't necessarily have to call every part of your match. You don't necessarily have to call every part of your promo. And I'm here to be against them and say that's not right. You need to have a plan. You need to know what you're going to say, what your point is, and how you're going to finish. Sometimes I try to do that no planning type of promo, and that just leaves me in the middle of like, what do I say now? So that never helps. That's why I wrote down little bullet points on what we're going to talk about today. I wanted to talk about the importance of reaching out to companies as well. When I was getting into the business, the way I asked Lindsay Dorado, who is in the Lucha House Party right now in WWE, and he was one of the trainers at the school I went to. And he was, I was like, hey, I have no idea on how to get booked. I've been wrestling for 6 months. I've been trying to get bookings. I keep getting paid $5. Like I keep paying my dues. And when am I gonna make money? And he was saying, well, you make money whenever you want to make money. Because if you have a resume already and you have been doing it, it's up to you if you want to get booked. So what he suggested, I made a resume, put my demo reel, and I put a little bunch of photos. The way he did it was in print and he mailed them, but now we have email, thankfully. So I started reaching out to companies. The easiest way to find every company around you, believe it or not, is Facebook. I started writing, I'm in the United States, so this depends on where you're located, but in Florida, there's like Alabama, there is Atlanta, South Carolina, North Carolina. That's like the closest things I have around me. So what I started doing was I wrote Alabama Pro Wrestling, and a bunch of like Alabama Pro Wrestling companies popped up. Then I put Atlanta and the same thing. And I would have a format, something that I wrote already, like standard for everybody. And I would send that to every single company. I believe I was doing this every night for at least 3 hours for 2 months. Then after that, it was all phone calls, emails coming back, and people trying to book me. And I started with a low rate of $100. $100 is like good enough for you to like have a meal, enjoy your vacation, get a cool video, and maybe get some good opportunities. With like when I started doing that, I was picked up by a promotion called IWC or ICW. I don't remember, they changed their name, but they give me the opportunity to wrestle Melina. I was able to work with Ali from Impact. Jim Ross watched my match and gave me feedback. And this is all because I was willing to reach out. They have no idea. Nobody's gonna know who you are if you don't tell them who you are. And this is something people don't understand. You don't just have social media, have matches, and people automatically know who you are. That's not how fame works. You gotta try, and the hustle is what's gonna give you results. I just talked about reaching out to companies and how to look for companies, building a resume. That is something that it's super important, super, super important. A lot of people think that they have nothing to put on their resume. And that might be true. You might have nothing. But if you have nothing, then it's on you to start looking for work, trying to have something. If you work for a show for $5, then fine. You don't have to write down on your resume. Just go there, do the show, and have something to put. And if it still doesn't look good enough, reach out to another company and do the favor. Work for free for a little bit and then get paid forever. That's how you secure a real high pay eventually. In pro wrestling, unfortunately, unless you are the daughter or son of somebody who has built a legacy already, you won't come in making money. Now that's just on the business aspect. Now let's talk a little bit about promos, which is what I'm mainly known for. What makes a good promo? I believe credibility is like one of like the strongest aspects of a promo, like one of the most important parts. I suggest picking a character that's not a character. A lot of people think like, oh, I want to be, I've seen this all over the indies. I want to be a mermaid, for example. What is that? Is that credible? Do you think that really a mermaid is gonna come up and first of all, has anybody seen a mermaid? 2, you really are gonna believe a mermaid is a fighter? No. Have a gimmick that is believable. You could be a cartel badass if you want to. You could be anything you want to be. That I say that because that's what I picked. But I picked something that went along with the way I am. It's not necessarily a character. It's like the most amplified version of me possible. That way, when I'm talking, it doesn't sound like I'm trying to be something I'm not. And that's like that to me, that's like one of the most important things. I learned this from Pentagon Jr. and LA Park. They always said to me, this is show business. This is not about who's stronger or who got the like the coolest name. It's not about that. It's about what do you have that is different. Penta told me sometimes people do like flips from the top rope and I'm just in the middle. I take off my glove and I do cero, miedo, and that gets a bigger pop. And I can't stress this enough, but personality is way more important than being risky. You can throw yourself from a second floor and you will have one cool video that will probably go viral, yes, but that's one video. You put your whole life at risk and people are just going to talk about that one move. You build a character that is something that's marketable, that everybody wants to watch over and over. Like people don't get tired of John Cena. Doing this is enough. People are easy. You just got to give them something to hang on to. Find something that's your trade. I started saying, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. That's just my phrase. You can have just like one catchphrase that's just gonna get everybody hyped every time you say it. There's like maybe a move or something like that. How can you make a character more credible? Study. As simple as that. First, figure out who you are. If I were to write down on paper who Salina de la Renta is, I would say badass boss bitch, entrepreneur, cartel, mafia leader, something like that. Like those would be like the descriptions. So whenever I want to study for Salina, I look for people that fit that same description. People like The Godfather. You don't have to look in professional wrestling. You don't have to look for people necessarily in professional wrestling. Professional wrestling is a good place to start to know like who you want to be like. When I look at managers, I look at Paul Heyman and I'm like, okay, he could talk. He can go. It doesn't matter if you give him 20 minutes or 2 minutes, he's gonna say something crazy. So I look for something like that. But then the problem with this is if you stay only studying wrestling, then you won't know how to say something new, how to say something different. So I try to look outside as well. I watch all the Godfather movies. I take lines from there. I take notes. After that, I looked for another show. There's a show called Unreal. They have a woman that runs the show. And that's exactly what I do. So I looked at the way that she talks to her employees. Sometimes she'll say terrible things. She'll be a bitch. And I'm like, okay, this is exactly what I'm gonna do. And that's a good way to study and figure out who you are. Write down on paper who you are, then study people that are like you. And that'll help you a lot to figure out, get ideas. A lot of times when you get booked on TV, you will get direction. They will tell you, we need this, this, and that. And sometimes they'll just give you bullet points. In MLW, for example, what we do is we write down this segment is 5 to 8 minutes. Conan versus Salina. And it says, Salina, talk about Conan's hygiene. Then it says, talk about the city we're in. Talk about, they don't give you anything too specific. So this is why you need to study, because you hear people that are like you talk about, I'll give you an example. There's this show called Entourage, and their manager is called Ari. He manages 4 Hollywood superstars. That's the same thing I do. I manage 4 pro wrestling superstars. And he was walking into a meeting, and he goes like, what's up, Barb? Shouldn't you be doing something like casket shopping, for example? And I was like, whoa, that's good. That's good stuff. So then I wrote that down, went back to pro wrestling. And then the minute I had somebody old in front of me, Jim Cornette, I was like, shouldn't you be doing something better, like casket shopping, for example? You hit the same line you just heard. But I did not think about that. I studied for that. I looked for it. And then people are like, oh, how do you do it? So it just comes so easy to you. But it doesn't. It doesn't really. I did my research. And that's what's gonna separate you from everybody else. Studying, trying harder. People that work harder get better results. This should be logical, but not everybody, not everybody thinks about it. Heels. If you're a heel, you should be looking for anything to point out about your opponent, or something to make fun of, like, or maybe pick on an audience member, or anything really that's gonna get them going. But there's something that a lot of people get wrong, and it's like a lot of people go to talk shit about someone and they bury them. And then when you bury someone, the problem with that is, if I say Alan, for example, I say Alan because I see you right now. If I say, well, Alan sucks. He has no talent. He has no skills. His haircut's ugly. And I beat Alan, then what the fuck did I beat? I beat someone that sucks. What does that say about me? That doesn't make me look good at all. That doesn't make him look good. That doesn't make me look good. That's burying the whole business. So whenever you want to talk shit about someone, you always want to put them over first, and then you put yourself even more over. So I want to be like, Alan, you look like you could beat somebody up. Your muscles, your everything, you have a great build, but unfortunately you're no parka. And that's where you got him. You put him over, and then once you beat him, you beat somebody that's strong, that's good, that can beat someone up, and that helps everyone. So this is about working together, heels and baby faces. You want to make the other person look good. You want to make yourself look even better. You never want to discredit anybody. It's just the same rules of improv. Like whenever somebody says something, you don't want to go, no. You want to go, yes, but I'm better. Baby faces. I get so mad when I meet baby faces that believe that they can't say anything cool. They think that that's the heel's job. Like, no, I don't want to say anything too strong because I'm just a good guy. Well, a good guy doesn't mean that you're a dumbass, that you're just gonna let people step over you. That's not what a baby face is. A baby face is a baby face because they don't target the audience. They don't try to piss anybody off. And they do target the audience. Let me take that back. They just don't try to piss them off. when you target the audience as a baby face, you're trying to get them to cheer for you. You want them on your good side. So what do? You go out there, you kiss babies, you hug grandmas. Not right now because there's COVID, but you wanna like get people like happy that you're here. You show up, you have high energy, you can dance. Dancing is a great tool for being a baby face. Mocking your heel, it's the best way to get over. Whenever you feel like it's time to talk your shit, say it. Say everything you want to say, but be sure that you're targeting the heel. And if you're working with a good heel, that heel has already made everybody else around you mad. So the minute that the baby face comes out and roasts that heel, everybody's gonna pop for it. And that makes a good baby face. It's the I'm better than you no matter what. And I don't have to insult anybody. It's period. And good people that you could look at, like a good baby face, I would say Iron Man. That's a great example. Everybody loves Iron Man, and he's not a dummy. He don't let nobody fuck with him. And that's exactly why he's so cool. You know, is there some legitimacy behind a character that makes them good? Character matters. I think I already went over that. Personality goes further than risk. Respect your veterans. I wrote that in all caps here. I can't stress that enough. Not respecting your veteran is a really easy way to get fired. Respecting your veterans is an easy way to get promoted. So if you show up to a place and they say something that rubbed you wrong, just shut your mouth. Just don't. It's not worth it. I've seen way too many people get too comfortable behind the scenes. Like they think like, oh, I'm already on TV, I've made it. That's just not the attitude. Whenever you show up to a show, you want to have a veteran that you bonded with. You want to go and ask them, hey, can you please watch my match respectfully? Hey, give me some feedback. How can I improve? Because let me tell you something, a veteran is a veteran because they've been in this business for years, not because, I don't know, not for any other reason. They know exactly what, oh wait, hold on, I have a good question. They know exactly what to talk about. They know exactly how to do it. They've done it, they're making money, and they haven't gone anywhere. So whenever you see somebody that's been in the business 10, 20 years, respect them, go to them, let them know. I think I have some questions here. I didn't realize that you guys were writing.
Sorry, the first few were just folk talking to me while I was trying to get some stuff sorted. There's just one question there, but if anybody has any questions, just post them in the chat and we can grab them all at the end in one go.
Yeah, no, I don't mind addressing it right now. I'd only have a few.
Up to yourself.
Yeah, and I only got a few more points here. How long would you give a particular gimmick before changing ideas and going in a different direction? All right. So I guess there's no like definite number. I would say try. It really depends on exactly what you're doing. If your gimmick is not making sense to anyone, what I would do first is get the reason why. See what's going wrong. If you are coming out and the audience is not reacting, then there's something you need to revisit. I would say if your gimmick, after me personally, if something doesn't work the first 3 times, I'm done. And it just also depends, like sometimes people, like, it's not the gimmick that is wrong, it's the execution of the gimmick. And sometimes like some stuff can be saved. So what I would say before quitting or before just giving up, because that's just not going to help you, try and go to someone that is an expert in your opinion, like somebody that has a high level of expertise in that. If it's I would like, if you could give me like a very specific gimmick that you're trying to portray and tell me what exactly you think is going wrong, maybe I could give you some pointers. But the best way to do it is have somebody review your work, somebody that's been in the business, maybe get a trainer or somebody you trust, some friend, and tell them, hey, I don't want you to rub my back, I want you to tell me the truth, what's going wrong in this gimmick. And the few times that I've reached out to people with experience in this business, they've always given me something that I can work with. And once they give you that feedback, don't take that wrong. Go back, fix it, try doing it again. And if it doesn't work a few more times, then take it as a sign. Take it as a sign. Being a producer is no doubt a constant learning process, but what are some things you wish you had known before becoming a producer? And what are some things that you can do to prepare for that role? Okay, good. I went to college for screenwriting and TV production. The best thing I could say to do before coming into any role is studying. If you want to be a pro wrestler, you want to go to pro wrestling school. If you want to be a better actor, go take acting classes. I still go to college. I just can't stop because I understand that I will never know enough. There's no way that I can't learn something else. So I would say study. If you want to be a producer, go to college. That's the best advice I could give you. And some things that I wish somebody would have told me. I had a pretty good training. So before coming in, I was respectful. I was set up to be successful by Santana Garrett, Lindsay Dorado. I trained with Aaron Epic, and I also trained with Ricardo Rodriguez, who used to be Alberto Del Rio's manager. Those people gave me really, really great career advice. I wish I would have known how creepy wrestling is before coming into it, and I wish that I would have known that there's anytime something shitty happens in wrestling, I've like tried to like keep it cool, keep it quiet, and like not really stress. But I wish somebody would tell me that there's some lines that you could draw. Whenever you feel like you're being abused, you have been working for a company 6 months and you've been setting up the ring, taking everything down. You've been doing everything you need to do, and they still haven't given you one opportunity. They're using you. Get out of there. You pay your dues, but you don't let them take advantage of you. And I wish somebody would have told me like the difference about that. Because for an entire like year and a half, I was driving myself 3.5 hours to go work for $5, and never paid off. I never got anything out of it except really cool matches. Damn, just answer what I wanted to ask. I got you. If you got any other questions, by all means. Bring your gear. That's one thing I'll say. Being at the right place at the right time will literally take you a long way. If you go show up to set up a ring, you did not sign up to become a staff member. You are setting up the ring because you might want to get a match, or maybe you want to get in the business somehow. So bringing your gear shows that you're prepared and ready. Also, if you are not a good wrestler, don't bring your gear. Do not show up without being prepared. That's just no. If you go out there to have a match and you don't know how to have a match, first impressions count. Everybody will say you suck. Everybody that's seen you in that roster. So the next time that they see there's a show, they're not going to suggest you. So I would say before going out there, before trying any moves, like, guys, get it right at least 10 times in a row before doing it. I've seen people, they're like, oh, it's just a show. It's time to try things. Don't try anything that you haven't done at least 10 times. Or practice with the person that you're with. Method acting. This is great. I love method acting. Whenever you don't know how to act a certain way unless you act that way. So whenever I want to be, before I became Salina, and it was really hard for me to transition because I was the booty monster. So very, very different gimmicks. Before I became Salina, I had to feel like Salina. So I had to wear my suits. I had to go to some bougie place. I had to live it to know exactly what she was. So whoever you are, whether that's a hillbilly, whether that's I don't know, like a maid, whatever it is your gimmick is, feel like that. Do that. Do what your character would do, so you can, you know, think back at some things. Whenever I'm like, oh, I'm in like some nice beach in Cabo, I think about like me being, I haven't gone to the beach in Cabo, but I've gone to the beach in Florida. So I try to think about like going back into that mindset, and it always takes me in a good flow. I got my first segment in a company with a veteran because I had my gear with me. Then he asked to have a feud with me because I work well with him. Yeah, that's exactly how it is. You keep getting opportunities, the more prepared you are, and veterans see that. That's exactly what all veterans are looking for. That's what every promoter's looking for, and everybody that has a show, they want people that have the it. And having the it factor is looking like a superstar, being a superstar, and doing anything it takes to be successful in this career. Have you got any tips on growing brand on social media? Yes, I could absolutely. Um, Good ways to social media. Social media is first impression. That's what that is. You need something that screams celebrity when you open your profile. If I open your profile and I see a few pictures with your dog, cool. That is really cool for a normal person. But a celebrity, chances are they will have one picture with their dog, but majority of their stuff, it's either professional photo shoots, cool like demo reel videos. And if you don't have them, you do have friends. Like in wrestling, whenever you sign up, you can't wrestle yourself. So you're definitely wrestling somebody. That person that's starting in the business, you and that person need to go out there, try to get a skit done. Everything, like anything you see on my social media, majority of it I produce myself. If sometimes I can't, like whenever I can't afford, for example, I rented a mansion to do like a Salina promo. I don't live in a mansion. I live in a really, really nice apartment, but it's not Salina standard. So I reach out to a company that they rent mansions, and I traded for them. They let me do. I did a commercial for them to promote the house, and they let me borrow the house. And then I went and did some photo shoots that were fitting for Salina. So I always try to put things that match who I am, and then I use hashtags. Hashtags. A lot of people. So I'll tell you how they work. When you follow a hashtag, you can follow things like alphas, like which is like the superior humans. Like that's fucked up as that sounds. It's the superior humans, alphas and betas. So whenever I follow the alphas, anybody that uses that hashtag, I will get a feed with a bunch of alphas. I can follow things like weed. As simple as that. Like, and then I will get a bunch of like tags of that. So whenever you're posting something, you want to post a hashtag that matches who you are. So I write like hashtag luxury living, hashtag millionaire, hashtag rich lady, hashtag professional wrestler, hashtag women's wrestling, hashtag WWE, hashtag NXT, because I want to pop into people's feeds that are following this. And the hashtags help you get out there a little more. Another thing you could do to get more followers is do giveaways. Give away free shirts, give away free 8x10s. 8x10s is the easiest. That costs you about 20 cents to print that photo. An autograph costs you nothing, and to ship it is going to cost you about $1. It's basically you're paying for advertising. You say, I'm going to be giving a free 8x10, tag 2 friends, and be sure to follow me. That's enough. That'll get you a few followers, and that'll get your word out there. Another thing you could do if you're trying to get noticed by some companies is have really professional photos. I can't stress that enough. If you look like a superstar, you will be booked. If you don't look the part, that you won't. You can say things like tag your favorite pictures in your gear, tag your favorite promotion. And if that promotion happens to not be in the list of promotions that you already did because you went to Facebook and you did the reaching out to each company, now you have a whole new list of companies to reach out to. And those are different ways of growing your social media. I got here. What do you recommend for doing commentary work? Being an interviewer, I'm looking transitioning towards commentary as my next step. Cool. It's really good questions. For doing commentary, I would suggest study a commentator. Tony Schiavone is a great example. Jim Cornette is a great example. If you want to be really controversial, it really depends on who you want to be. If you want to be really controversial, Jim Cornette's your guy. If you just want to be like a neutral, good baby face, like putting over and somebody's recognized, you want to look at Tony Schiavone. And you don't have to stick to pro wrestling commentary. You can just look into like baseball commentary or NFL or anything. Take notes. If you hear a heel commentator tends to make fun of the person that they're talking to, they're doing commentary with. That is called color commentary. And color commentary is like when you're adding like color to the situation. So you want to point out, like when the wrestler's coming out, you want to point out, oh, I don't think they're looking their best right now. And you're giving the person next to you something to feed off of. And they're like, not looking their best. When have you looked like that? And it's just a matter of having a funny conversation going in the back or something to keep the audience engaged. But just like I suggested for being a manager or a wrestler trying to figure out your character, is trying to figure out who you are as a commentator. Are you a funny commentator? Are you a serious commentator? Do you have a lot of wrestling knowledge? And if you don't, do you want to be a play-by-play? What do you want to do? If you want to be play-by-play, you want to know the people that you are that are in the roster. I did commentary at a show with Larry Sabisco, and I was gonna do color. And when I showed up, he was like, no, I've always done color. And I was like, what the hell? I can't do play-by-play. And he was like, well, you're going to. And I was like, cool. So I ran to the back, and what I started doing immediately is I looked up every single person in the roster. I went to their Wikipedia, I took notes, I knew exactly what their moves were, exactly what they're known for, and I wrote it down. You can have a piece of paper to make reference. As soon as somebody's coming to the ring, you don't even need to know everything they did. You just need to read it. They're coming to the ring, and you're like, all right, we have Salina de la Renta all the way from Puerto Rico. I heard the island is nice there. And then you continue. You have your point. Preparation. Dead ass. That's the only thing. Write down, talk about it. When I got to the back, everybody was so grateful because of what I did. And all I did was look it up on Wikipedia. I really didn't know that much. Everybody was like, thank you so much. You put me over huge. You mentioned things that nobody ever mentions. And that's it. I dead ass. I'm no wrestling Wikipedia. Like I told you guys, until I was 17, until I was 19, I hadn't even watched Total Divas. Like nothing. How important has the impact of acting been on your career so far? I think that's like the main part. If you're trying to be a manager specifically, most of your act is acting. And sometimes this part gets me. Acting is reacting. And this is where people get me. Sometimes when people are talking in the back and they say lines and stuff, like they make a plan. Hey, you're going to say this, I say that. You say this, you say that. Sometimes people just know what they're going to say. And since they are so focused on what they're going to say next, they forget to listen. And sometimes they're just like, sometimes like, if you're not listening, the person may have forgotten the line, hit something completely different. And if you were thinking about what you were going to say, the next thing you're going to say is not going to match what they said. So I would say the main thing is getting the gist of it. But once you're out there, react, listen. If the person's confused about where they're going next, then you might want to say something that's going to bring them back in track. Taking improv classes helped me a lot to develop that skill. That doesn't come overnight. But if you actually try, go do the training, maybe go to college. Like I can't stress that enough. college is a great fucking tool, and it really depends on where you're located, but sometimes there are some government funding programs that can pay for your schooling, and not only pay for that, but that extra money that they gave you to study, you end up getting it sent back to you. And this is what I've been doing. I go to school thanks to the government, they pay for it, and the money that I get extra, I invest on merch so that I can make more money and ensure I have a successful career where I can make a living of it. I don't know if I answer your question with that one, but let me know if you have any other question. On the fly promo, does it also count as on the fly promo? Wait, does it also count as on the fly promo if all I have is 3 minutes to challenge Nitro Green for this challenge, for the title?
Sorry, Hanyadi. I read that one as well. I think you're gonna have to rephrase that one, mate. I didn't quite understand that one either. I think you'll need to type that one again if you can.
Yeah, if you can.
Basically, if all I have, let's say on the paper that you got 3 minutes and you have to challenge this person. That's all I have on the paper.
Yeah, that's all you
Yeah.
have? Well, that's enough. That's a lot, actually. 3 minutes is a way long promo. And what you want to do in a case like that, you got Nitro Green. So what I would do, this is a great example. I would look up Nitro Green on Wikipedia. I want to know what they're known for. I want to know what they call themselves. I want to know everything about them so that I can go and hit a promo targeted towards them. I just did this with Davey Boy Smith Jr. the other day at SWE. I have nothing to say about Davey Boy Smith Jr. He is excellent. He's great. He comes from a great family. Well, what would a heel do? Take his glory and talk shit about that. So what I did was, I know that Davey Boy Smith Jr. calls himself the bulldog. So I was like, a bulldog is a species of dog. What dog is weak? I was like, a poodle. All right, so I can compare him to a poodle, say that you might be better off. Then I was like, bulldog sounds like bullfrog. And this is all like research before talking about him. So I went out there and I cut my promo first. The first thing that you need to get out of the way is what they wrote on the paper. So first thing, I'm here to challenge Nitro Green for his title. Boom, you got done the first thing that they wanted. You got that done. And now you got to fill in the other 3 minutes. So you want to be like, and I am going to get it because I am the greatest. Now you want to put yourself over. You want to say a few good things about you. And then at the very last, you want to be like dismissive of the other person, but acknowledging who they are. So I was like, and Davey, quite frankly, I think you should just retire because your family worked so hard to build a legacy that you are destroying. You call yourself the bulldog, but I think you should be a bullfrog because if you were any kind of dog, you should have been a poodle. Quite frankly, you look more like an amphibian. So yeah, right species when I said bullfrog. And that's it. It took me 3 minutes to look up who they are. And it took me maybe a few more minutes to find some other reference. Like there's something else to talk about. Sometimes people are wearing like skeleton suits like that. Like Parka, he's fat and he wears a skeleton suit. And I'll be like, you're really that desperate that you gotta wear a skeleton to look skinny? You know, you can talk about anything. Look at what they're wearing. Look at like their height. If they're really, really tall, Davey Boy Smith is really tall. So you could talk about his like enormous height. Or if you find somebody that's real short, like Rey Mysterio, for example, there's nothing bad to talk about him. But you can be like, you're half a man. You know, there's always something to say. It's just a matter of doing your research. Preparation. What advice would you give someone trying to break character? No. What advice would you give someone trying to break in, specifically as a manager? What would you suggest promoters are looking for? Dress for the job you want, not the one you have. That's the first thing I can say. Look the part. If you are a superstar, you don't want to show up in your joggers, wearing a shirt that you might have spilled some toothpaste on. You don't want to look like shit. you are a superstar. So put on like the whole thing. If you were to go to WWE today and you're about to do, like meet the Miz for a signing, what would he be wearing? He's the fucking Miz. He's gonna wear a leather jacket with some like crazy shit. If you can't afford it, go to Goodwill, get a leather jacket, and go handcraft that yourself. Make something badass, something that looks believable, something that where when you come in, I'm like, who is he? Who is she? Like, I want to know more. Why people want to autograph? Like they see me. It's not because I'm pretty. It's because of everything I've worked for, everything I've built. So you wanna look legit, not just look legit. You want to be legit. So when you're coming in, you are a superstar, and they are looking for that. They're looking for somebody that's easy to market. They're looking for somebody that when you book a wrestler, you're booking someone that's ready. You don't want to book someone that you have to train. If you show up not dressed, unprepared, I gotta tell you how to do things, you're a liability. Honestly, if you just show up, hey, I'm ready, I got my merch, I got everything, whatever you need. Cutting a promo, fine. You go back there behind the stage. I gotta go to the bathroom for 5 minutes. You can literally take the same time it takes you to poop. 5 minutes, do your research, prepare. That's it. Just be independent. That's what they're looking for the most. Advice as breaking in as a manager, know your place. Managers are added to make a person look better. Some managers make the mistake of trying to make the whole show about them. And that's a no-no. You are there to enhance a talent, make them look better. You want to talk shit, you want to help them in a match, you want to have an opinion. Whenever you're behind the scenes and they give you a spot, sometimes, yeah, do whatever they're telling you, but if you can think of something even better, then go ahead and do it. Look for something that's different. Very classic in wrestling, you'll see like the whole like I grab her by the hair, kiss spot, or you will see like trip the leg, or you will see the manager coming in distracting the ref. It's doing all those things, but doing it a little different. Like when I was coming in, I got a fake mace. Nobody's ever pepper sprayed anybody in the ring. Like that's not a thing. So I came in with a fake one, distract the ref. The ref turned around, sprayed the bitch. Everybody lost their shit. Everybody. And all I did was spray some water, dead ass. Everybody's like, oh, this is crazy. So it's just a matter of like giving it a little extra, like some, yeah, you got a Whopper with some fairy dust, and now it's like amazing. What are your tips for production for a small indie with limited resources? What are the first things to focus on? Okay, good. A good tip I can give you is know your budget. If you have $100, don't spend $100 trying to book a boat because you want to look rich. That's just not going to help you. So work with what you have. If you have a small location and it doesn't have that many rooms, then play with the walls. Go outside. Oh, this helped me a lot. When I was trying to make a good promo and I didn't have the budget, I would go drive to a rich neighborhood and I would go record myself in front of somebody's expensive car. I'd be like, yeah, I'm on my way to somewhere, and then I gotta see the neighbor and I sprint. I go. So it's just a matter of you finding some place to record at. If you don't have the budget, make the budget. Something as simple, everything looks good. Location is everything. You can start a storyline in a coffee shop. Message somebody near, be like, hey, I'm working on this new promotion. Is there anything we could do? We'll give you a shout out after the show. People will come here, get a coffee. Can we please record in the back of your place? People will say yes. They will say yes. Make a deal, make connections, networking. That's great. Look in your area. I live in Florida, and there is at least 20 businesses on the road I live in. There is zero reason why I don't have a place to shoot. There's a pool, there's a beach, there's a dock, there's a police station, there's a courthouse that I could just go record in front of. If you want to escalate things like with no budget, go record with somebody in front of a courthouse and say you're suing them and tell me if you're not going to get some reaction out of that. You know, it's just a matter of you wanting it, not just like wishful thinking, like I'm going to dream every day about what I want. It's actually going out there, getting it, and people, you just become undeniable. Deadass. People can't say shit because your promos are so legit that it's like, how can I keep up? How can I keep up? It's just being smart. You don't even need that much money. Coming from a small country myself in Northern Ireland with a very small and political wrestling scene, would you advise personalizing my CV? What's CV? Resume.
A CV is a resume.
Same thing? Okay.
Same thing.
I'm the only female referee in Northern Ireland and Ireland. Anytime I send it out, especially across the water in the UK to catch the attention of the promoters. I have a Google Drive that includes promo pics, videos of matches. I have refed airport information, CB references, and my first aid certificates and qualifications. But it's hard to break into the big scene when you're a bit further away and in a smaller country. But is there anything more you can do? Yeah, there is more you could do. What you could do is don't tell them where you're from. They don't need to know where you're at. If you're too far, don't let them make that call for you. You decide how far are you willing to go. If you apply at a place that's 2 hours from your house, and if you're willing to drive 2 hours, then fuck it, apply there. But if you're not gonna drive, you're not willing to do that, then don't apply at all. But don't make the distance be your excuse. At first, you're gonna have to drive. It's gonna suck. Get a group of people. And if you can't get a group of people, put Netflix on the way or something. Listen to something and just show up. Don't tell them that you're 2 hours away. They don't want to hear that. But once you show up, once you've done everything, that's when you tell them. So they know that you made the extra effort. You don't want to like just dismiss completely your hard effort, but you don't want to put it as an excuse. Because if you come in with an excuse, the promoter's just going to see the excuse. But you're like, hey, I'm available. Boom, I can make it. I can make it. That's all you need to let them know. That's all they need to know, really. And once you make the drive, you did everything. At the end of it, hey, thank you so much. I kind of have to head out soon because I'm 2 hours away. And they'll be like, 2 hours away? What the fuck? And that's when you're like, yeah, I just really wanted to be here. And that sits in their head. Next time they need a referee, they'll be like, oh yeah, but I'll give you a little extra because I know you're coming from far. Or maybe eventually they'll fly you. It's just a matter of the first time you get in, just getting in. Once you're in, network your way to the top.
Yeah. Is it worth, sorry, so a lot of the big companies are over in the UK, which is for flying. So is it worth maybe picking a few that I know that I can maybe go out, say to them, look, I'm in that area anyway, I'll come help build the ring. Joe, if you need someone to help do merch, is it worth networking that way if I can find flights over that don't necessarily put me out too much, but mean that I can still go and get an opportunity and network? Well, I can do, Ireland's great because I can drive all around Ireland. I absolutely love driving, and usually I'll be like, hey guys, like if you've got wrestlers that you want from the north, I'm more than willing to drive them down. Joe, come and say a show, help out in the show, and they're usually great crack. But it's more, I think it's more the flying thing. When do you draw the line at how you decide where to fly to?
No, I get you. So drawing the line is really up to you. You're clearly in the right attitude, and that's exactly how you're gonna make it. I would say don't fly yourself every single time. That is letting them take advantage of you. Mm-hmm. You wanna like do it once, maybe twice. Okay. If you and you want to make sure that you can afford it. You mm-hmm. don't want to put yourself in a predicament. Like it's very important that you know your limits. Like if a flight is $300, that's not worth it. Yeah. You know, if it's a cheap flight that you were able to get in, cool, hell yeah. If you can't get the flight and you can drive, man, even better. But then eventually you might want to tell the promoter, hey, I enjoy doing the show. Maybe you did it twice. the third time you're like, hey, I love doing this show, but I realize it's like a bit of like a drive, or it's like, do you think that maybe you could help me with the flight?
Yeah.
And you work for free.
Yeah.
A good example, you know? And then you make sure you bring your merch or something else that you can make money from. Because you don't want to, you know, it's fine if you're working for free in the beginning, but eventually you want to make some of that money back, you know?
Yeah.
And then also use those videos to try and get signed with the WWE, or try and get signed in AEW, or somewhere where you will get a contract and you will get respectable money. You want to do that.
Thank you.
Of course. When doing a promo, if you had to only choose one, would you try to entertain the crowd or try to get legit heat with them? Well, this is about what they need, not what I want. So when I'm in the back, before I go out there, I know who I am and I know what the goal is. When I get bullet points to go out to the ring, if it says talk shit about Conan, roast him, do like, or get heat with the crowd, then that's exactly what I'm gonna go target. If I just saying entertain the crowd or get heat with them, but sometimes getting heat with them is entertaining the crowd. So that is one of those that's like, I feel it out. If I say something and it doesn't get a pop and the crowd is not feeling it, then I go back and target the wrestler. But if the crowd is reacting, I'm gonna keep pressing their buttons until they go nuts. Last time it took one phrase to get a lady to come all the way up in my face like that. And I was like 3 seconds about to beat her ass. And I was like, man, I really want to be a professional. I was thinking about my entire career while this lady was up in my face like this. And everyone in that building, there was a match going, well, the match hadn't even started. The match was about to start, and everybody's attention was on me and the lady. And that's heat and entertainment at the same time. So it just depends on what they need. That's like I say about that one. What advice would you give someone still to debut? How can we get our names out without any in-ring experience? Well, I came from nothing. Literally, I had no wrestling friends, no wrestling family, no nothing. So this is perfect. An example to give somebody that's about to a good advice for someone that's about to debut. Before you debut, you want to have everything about your character done and written on paper. I like what's my signature move? You want to write down 5 moves that you could do in falsies. You want to write down 5 moves that you would do for the heat. 5 moves that are your signature. 5 that you can do in the beginning. You want to have everything that your character could potentially do. The way that you think, the way that you dress, the way that you act, everything on paper. So if you ever get confused, you just got to think back to who you are. Think back to what it is. And if you ever want to evolve as a character, you could also use your writing as a reference. You could be like, okay, well, I used to be like this. Now I can give it a little twist because of this. And some really big fans will connect the dots with everything that you're trying to do. I would not debut if I haven't had at least 2 or 3 professionals review my work. I would suggest going to a training school, trying to get a name, trying to make a connection. Meeting a name in wrestling is so easy. I've never seen any business where you can literally walk in and meet a celebrity the next day. That is pro wrestling. All you got to do
Sorry,
is...
if I can just jump in for a minute, just because we're already at 7:10. So Ryan's question that he's just sent in, Ryan Hamill's question, we'll have that as the last one.
Okay, no problem. Where was I? Okay, so you wanna meeting a celebrity is really easy. What you want to do is look in your area. There must be someone around you that is known or the best at something in wrestling. So if you know that they're in a show, go to that show, befriend them, talk to them. Hey, do you think that you could please watch my match? Be polite, be nice, and tell them, can you give me some feedback? If the person tells you that's really good, man, you could improve in this and that, they're probably going to give you some pointers, because if you're brand new, there's no way you're doing it all right. So they might give you some pointers, but if they suggest, you can ask them, do you think I should debut? If they say yes, get 3 people to say yes, go ahead and do it. Go ahead and do it. And there was a debut. Yeah, don't debut in gear that you got from Walmart. This is something I need to say. Get your gear made by a professional. If you want to be, pro wrestlers are like superheroes. You need to have your design. You need to have everything. Imagine seeing Spider-Man in a red onesie versus on his suit. It doesn't make sense. You don't want to do that. That's burying yourself. So you want to make sure you're legit before you go out there. You don't want to be embarrassed. Any thoughts or advice on working with referees? Respect your referees. I'll say this. A lot of people like to dismiss referees, and and I've seen this dynamic way too much. That it's like, oh, I don't have to care about your opinion, or if the referee is telling you get him out of the corner. Bro, if the referee is telling you get him out of the corner, he's already up 4. Don't make him have to come pull you. That they could disqualify you. And if you work every week, they will disqualify you. They get a bonus for this. So it's working with them. Respect everyone. It doesn't matter if you're a referee. It doesn't matter if you're just here to set up the ring. People are people. You need to learn that everybody has value, and the referee is one of the most important parts in a match. Good ways to use your referee is let them know at the very beginning, hey, I'm gonna distract you at this point. Please work with me. Towards the end, you want to say, hey, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna cheat here. Don't look. This is the finish. You want to let them in. You don't want to treat your referee like they ain't shit, because this. But for that, might as well just have the match with Invisible Man. Do it yourself. Another good way of using the referee is when the referee comes to check you. If you need to talk to your opponent, tell your referee. Tell them, hey, tell them over there that I forgot the first part of the match, and then come back and tell me, please. And your referee goes over there, checks them out. Hey, they forgot the first part of the match. What is it? As they're checking them, and it's a clothesline. It's the body slam right after. The referee comes right back. Clothesline, body slam. That's it. Use your referee to communicate. The referee is a tool, and be respectful. Shake their hand at the end. It doesn't being nice doesn't cost anything, guys. You spoke about respecting your veterans. Having seen a lot of your work in MLW and interactions with Conan, do you discuss beforehand with what disparaging things you can say and what lines not to cross? Or do you act first and hope for the best? Nah, you don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that with anyone, not just your veterans. Talk. Communication is key. Let them know what you want to say. And my character specific, I love crossing lines. That what is what people consider to be crossing lines. I never, ever cross a line without talking to someone first. Whether they're a referee or whether they are John Cena, I gotta talk to them. I'm like, hey, I would love to say this about your mom. And I would love to talk about I don't know, your dead cousin, something that's fucked up. You want to talk to them. If you're just gonna say you're a disgrace, you suck, something like that, then yeah, you might not need approval. But if you know what you're gonna say is gonna trigger some points, and if you've done your research, you went on Wikipedia, you got some personal shit that's unique that nobody else has said, always get it approved. Always. And I would say 9 times out of 10, they'll be okay with it. The only few times that I've been told not to say things are sensitive things that could go against race, anything that could sound racist. I hold myself, I draw the line at that. Don't say anything racist. Don't try to get cheap heat. You're not Trump. You're not gonna get away with it. Just avoid that. There's so much you can say that you don't have to, lower yourself. It's just not that could just get you canceled. You won't have a job forever. So the ways to ensure is be respectful, ask, and that's it. It's not that hard. It's just a matter of knowing the rules and following them. I think I got to the bottom of it.
All right, so that was our last question. That was really good, mate. I really enjoyed that.
Thank you guys so
thanks
much.
for everyone to everyone for coming. Obviously, this was the first paid class that we've done, and the attendance for it's been brilliant. We've got Buffa in 2 weeks today. Let me know if you're interested in that. But I hope you all enjoyed it. Sorry about the sort of issues I was having at the start. My internet dropped down, and I'm sure you've all seen that countdown that was going as well, saying that I had to upgrade the Zoom. So I was trying to fucking get all my credit card details in within 5 minutes. So, but yeah, thanks for coming, guys. Feel free to drop off, Salina, if you don't mind, if you can hold on just a couple of minutes.
Yeah, no, thank you everybody so much. I truly appreciate everybody being here. And I will say this, everybody that's on here, if you ever need any career advice or reach out to me on social media, I'm always available. Just let me know that we talked on here. Because sometimes I will like dismiss some messages, but not because I dismiss people, but because I think they're fans. So be sure to let me know that we've talked on here, that you want some career advice, and I'm here for you, whatever you need, all right?
Thank you very much.
Hey, brilliant, Chips. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you so
you.
much. Appreciate it.
Thank you so
Bye.
much.
Cheers.
Thank you
See
very
ya.
much.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers, Lou. Thank you very much, Salina.
Cheers, Chips.
Sure.
Thanks very much.
This was very useful. I think at least.
Just thanks for coming, mate. Just drop off whenever you're ready.
So have a nice evening, guys.
Yeah, you too, brother.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
See you.
Zach and Tim staying for the chat then, or good.
Yeah. Maybe Zach fell asleep.
Yeah, maybe fuck it. Zach's here for it. All right. Yeah, I was just letting you say thanks, mate. That was really, really good. I mean, I thought it was going to be good, but that was much better than I could have imagined. So that was honestly, I was really impressed with that, mate. I will definitely look at doing another one down the line.
Yeah, I would love to. Thank you so much. This really means a lot. Just so you know, it's my first seminar.
All right, nice one.
Yeah,
Nice one.
it is. I have been offered before to do them, and I just didn't feel like I could do it.
No, not at all, mate. Not at all. Like when I first started doing these, like I done one myself, and my tag partner done one just as a sort of taster kind of thing, draw folk in. And I had no idea, like, and I've been coaching for years kind of thing, and I was like, how the fuck am I going to teach people on fucking Zoom, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it goes in quick, and like I said, this was the first paid seminar today, so you're like technically the first guest that we've got on.
That's awesome.
So like obviously with everything that you've been doing in that, it seemed it was an obvious one for me to get you on. But it was really good, mate. I do appreciate it.
Thank you. I had so much fun, and they had really good questions. Like this was a really good group.
Yeah, they're a keen lot, man. Like there's like a Facebook group for it kind of thing, and they're constantly posting and asking questions and stuff. So they are good. They're always trying to learn. And they're from all over. I'm sure you probably could have told with like fucking 100 different accents, but they're from all over. So what I'll do is I'll go through the list, and I'll let you know which countries they're from, and you can G that up online if you like. You know what I mean? Seminar with fucking people from 10 countries, shit like that. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, that's cool. If you have any pictures or anything, I don't know if you did, but from this seminar, like I would share it. I had so much fun.
Yeah, fuck yeah. I didn't. I was trying to just fucking get my Zoom not to crash in the middle. You know what I mean? I didn't manage to get any pictures, but they always take screenshots and stuff, and they're always tweeting about it and stuff. So I'll find whatever one was good, and I'll shoot it over to you.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Brilliant. Thank you very much, mate. Have a good night.
You too.
Cheers. Bye bye.
Bye.